Hey y'all, how you doing? I'm back. Not sure if I am live because my internet may be interrupted. But yeah, it's foggy out. It's 67 degrees Fahrenheit and it is very cool out. Now, I'm not saying it's cold, but it's cool because it's the fresh air right after a rainstorm as well as the opportunity to take in the mountain air, breathe it in, and have a good time. So, how are y'all doing today? I am back. Thank y'all for yesterday. Please pardon me. I had unexpected family tasks I had to take care of, but all is good. I was able to get out of the house. So that was a plus. And also I was able to kind of see what you guys are up to out there in the world. Again, pardon my voice. Friday, even though it's almost a week now, Friday I was at a family event outdoors, and then I had a speaking engagement. Thank you of y'all attending on Saturday. So yeah, that's what's going on. So it appears that I am a little bit on delay, but it's all good, no worries. So feel free to chime in, feel free to comment, and this will be found on playback. As you know, Facebook deletes live streams for some sort of reason after 30 days. So this will be housed at my this will be housed in my YouTube channel, which can be found from Andrea Mason, from Victim to Victorious on YouTube. Let's bump up that subscription, those subscribers. I believe I need more. I want to share out my message with as many people as possible. It's free. It's one of the free ways to support me. I support you. So without further ado, let me just checking the connection here, and let's jump into it. Alrighty, y'all. So today we are going to talk about something that I'm actually working on, that I am really implementing in my own life on so many levels. So y'all know my name is Andrea Mason, your first choice, your global voice, alumna of Les Brown, and the CEO of Press Play Plan Life According to You, LLC. And if you are like me, you know that for several decades, I have served in the corporate America in that industries of mental health as I obtained degrees in social work and psychology. And although some of those entities and the medical and holistic fields, although those entities were, some of them were for profit, most of them were non for profit. And the reason why I'm mentioning that is because, their missions and the kind of stigmatism with non-for-profit is that you're giving from your heart. You know what I mean? It's really center based on patient, customer service, customer and community relations, and so on and so forth. So that brings me to today's discussion about your network is your net worth. Yeah. Building high value connections for success. And it's kind of crazy when you think about it, because as a nonprofit, we were always had the mindset of giving. We were always in the mindset of supporting, giving great value, which in conjunction is also for the for-profit, entities that I have provided and worked for. But it was kind of like quota based, if that makes sense. You had to hit a certain target, you had to hit a certain milestone and what have you. So morning orange juice, pardon me, my voice is a little raspy. So, but when we talk about that with our self-worth and net worth of ourselves, we kind of get a little, I don't know, a little hesitant in asking for help, right? And we also find when we climb the ladder of success, a little hesitancy of putting a price point upon it, And so what I've adapted over the years was that if the mindset of this, which I kind of summarized it, was something in the realms of, if you want to go fast, then go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. But if you want to go big, then you've got to choose your circle wisely. And I was kind of under the notion like that, the legendary Les Brown talks about surrounding yourself with only quality people. And that's the circle. And if you want to go fast, you kind of do it your own. If you want to go far, then you want to go together. And if you want to go big, you got to choose your circle wisely. And now I'm able to see that. Now I'm able to see that, oh my goodness, I could get there faster by myself, but that doesn't guarantee quality. That doesn't guarantee proficiency. That doesn't guarantee results. A lot of us out there, when we began our journey in our life, especially in business, is what we're talking about towards the level of success, is that we're going to do it best. Nobody can do it better, and nobody can see our vision, which in one aspect is true. But y'all know me, I'm learning. And if you're like me, it's kind of like difficult to manage all of the components of life, let alone a business. The follow-ups, I talked a couple of weeks ago about the fortune and the follow-ups. I talk about accountability. I talk about responsibility. I talk about maintaining your stats, maintaining your mindset. And so when you're doing it alone, which I've done for quite some time, it could be quite exhausting that after you get all the behind the scenes situations settled, you're exhausted to even deliver, And then when you want to go far, I've learned through networking virtually and globally that, wow, you can really go. And y'all know, if you've worked with me, I grow, you grow. That's just the mindset that I have adopted over the times, because if I put in the mindset, it's all about me in a kind of not selfish way, in a healthy way, but if it's all about me, then you're not helping other people. You're only able to, I said in the beginning of the week this week, you're only able to have tunnel vision. But if you have the people or the mindsets of other individuals that can support you, then that's amazing, guys. That's amazing, because you have different perspectives, and all of us have different roles in our lives, whether it's in our families, our business, our relationships, whatever that may be. Like, for example, I talk about abuse and bullying, the healing power of forgiveness, pain to purpose, invisible to invincible, victim to victorious, warrior to warrior. But if I'm only looking at it from my perspective, then I only have a certain audience or a certain prospects that are going to be relatable. So in order to grasp this, it's important, what I talk about, what was the lesson that I've learned, is that when you are becoming successful, and no matter whatever you do in life, business, is that it really goes back to the last part of the quote that I've learned, was to choose your circle wisely. How many of us have people in our lives that are just sponges? Sponges. How many of us have those ninja watchers that are taking notes and applying it? And you're like, really? Like, wow. How many of us have copycats out there? I know I do, copycats. And how many of us know that there's somebody out there that's listening right now? Know that somebody's watching, that's being attentive and being intentional, but you haven't selected bringing them aboard. When I was in corporate America and I was working in one of the industries, I was just like, all right, this is awesome. And I remember sitting at the round table, if you will, at a business meeting. And we had the director, we had the supervisor, the team members, the peer advocates, and all that, in mental health. And when we were having a meeting, it was just talk over talk over talk. Nobody was listening, nobody was paying attention. And it was just like a power trip. And so when I was just looking, I was like, wow, we're supposed to be a team. We're supposed to produce great customer service, great clientele, familial support, outreach, you know, client compliance, all the things that are embodied in mental health. And it was just, they weren't coming from the right people. It was who could get the highest credibility, who could get the shiniest object. You know, those kind of people I'm talking about? And then so when I sat back, I was just like, wow, this is not at all what I vision a team. And the reason I say that is because when I was abused and bullied, I had my outlets. Y'all remember my outlets were music and athletics. And the beauty about athletics as being a former soccer athlete, you know, football in other countries, was I learned how to lose together. I learned how to be a team player, how to support one another, how to cheer people on, how to console people when they were not doing well. And it was just, you have to find the right people in any aspect when developing a team of life. I call it my global tribe, a team of support, emotional support of my family and friends. And it's really important. And, you know, so after that, I remember they had conferences, those those corporate conferences or those holiday celebrations. And it was like, I'm going to network. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to network and understand my net worth. And when I was doing that, people would go to these seminars and how many business cards did you collect? How many people did you speak to? And I was just like, it's not about that. It's not about the information. It's about the individual, It's about the relationships that when you go to the round table of a meeting, when you go to a seminar, a training, when you go to a holiday event for your corporation or your family, you want those valuable connections. You want those connections where you have the ability to build a connection where it's beyond borders, respectfully. I'm saying, when you have a conversation and you're talking about stats and numbers, but you're also talking about how's your family? How are you doing? What are the hobbies? Get to know that individual, and that's what I've developed. And that's what was always my strong suit. I remember the last job that I was at before the world changed. We had a seminar out in Texas, and it was an amazing event. First time I went on a event of the sort with like thousands of people and hotel accommodations and the whole kit and caboodle, right? And I'm noticing I'm saying kit and caboodle every morning. I guess it's just something that I say. But we went to the event and there was 3 team members and our leader, our manager who went. And, we got all, ready and dressed up to go to the dinner, to go to the social, to go to the seminars. And I remember I got up from the table and I just mingled, just out of the whim. And I remember my boss looking at me and he was just like, what are you doing? Where are you going? And my team members said this after the fact. They were like, boss man was like kind of not happy you got up and left. I said, well, this is an opportunity. This is an opportunity of a lifetime to meet people from all around the world that was at this huge summit. and network. Like, why wouldn't I take that opportunity? Why aren't you guys or boss man not doing this? And so take the initiative. Take the opportunity. You don't know what is in store of it. And you don't know who knows somebody, right? And we talk about you know, those events where your income is your identity, right? And it's of great influence. But when you rise above that and when you address your audience, when you show up and never give up and be your authentic, true self, that's when the gold or the opportunities grow. You know what I mean? You have that sense of confidence, that sense of competence of looking at high level opportunities. And that's what it's about. It's about, you know, finding the right people who know somebody regardless of where they are in the corporate ladder, you know, in the org chart. And when you look at that, it's just amazing. One of the apprentice internships I did in the city a couple of years back was meeting individuals, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I'm a mentee or I'm an intern." I'm like, "Really?" And they're like, "Yeah, this is awesome. I just wanted an opportunity to get firsthand taste, behind the scenes and knowledge of what I was possibly stepping into." Ladies and gentlemen, I had the most amazing internship before I began this journey. I worked for an amazing individual, and it was just awesome because I was able to get the real deal. I was able to see the highs and the lows. And it was just great influence and impact because I was able to ask questions. You know what I mean? You don't get that opportunity without networking. And I remember while I was going to school, I was like, you know what? I really would love an internship in the industry where I can get hands on experience. And they were like, well, why? Why don't you just go to a training or a seminar? I said, yeah, those are great and all. But if you know anything about me, I want to know the good, the bad, and the ugly. I want the real deal because if I'm going to invest in something, my time, my money, my travel, my health, my mindset, I want to know what I'm getting into. I'm going to ask all questions above and beyond, first and foremost. And so the takeaway I want you guys to understand is when you are networking for relationships, for business, for personal growth, professional growth, I want you to know that when you meet with someone, if you have the right network, then you have the ability to open multiple doors on multiple levels. When I started this journey years back, I was just like, I'm going to connect with everyone. And it was frowned upon. It was frowned upon. You don't need to connect with people. You don't need to if you're not getting paid, you don't need to network. If you're not getting seen, you don't need to network. And I was just like, why? Why not? What's the worst that can happen? If they don't like me, y'all can hit pause. If you don't like me, y'all could turn me off. You can mute me. But I have an opportunity to be visible all over. No matter what the critics say, it's the quality, not the quantity, y'all. And I talk about that. One of the myth that was busted in my personal experience is everybody told me that I needed X amount of followers. I needed X amount of revenue. I needed X amount of, all these mile markers that I had to have before taking it to the next level. I said, yeah, well, what if you don't? What if you don't have that momentum, that motivation, that following, that content, that confidence? And then they say, you better pack your bags and pack it in. Go work for someone else. And I said, all right. And if you know me, anything about me, you tell me something I can't do, and I'll prove you I can, respectfully and safely. Alignment with my morals, values, and ethics. And so with the mentality that launched me to was creating a lifestyle, creating a legacy, and never stopping. Never stop networking. Connect with somebody, talk with someone, shake a hand with someone, meet someone. And that's what I learned in my coaching and speaking career. That somebody knows somebody, regardless, maybe not now, maybe not later, but eventually, but they'll remember you. And in the words of Maya Angelou, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Boom. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Mohammed, welcome. Thank you so much. Like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate it. So, ladies and gentlemen, I always prepare accordingly, plan life according to you. Well, me in this situation. So, what I've adapted is that what I'm going to talk about is going to be found in the description, right? And then I'm going to relate it to what is relatable to you. Not everybody's an entrepreneur. Not everybody's a virtual influencer. Not everybody's a business person. Not everybody's a relationship person. But I aim to bring strong content that is valuable, where there's a lesson involved, a takeaway, and you know about me making that play, plan life according to you, taking that action. And so that action today, ladies and gentlemen, is that I want you to, I'm going to challenge y'all, not dictate, not lead, not lecture. That's not my style. But I am up for a challenge because I know that each and every one of us has a champion within. Whether you're an athlete, a mathlete, that's a new word, mathlete. Get it? Math? No. Okay. I'll leave that to the comedians. And so my challenge to you is that I want you to reach out to one person that inspires you, whoever that is. One person. Put it in the chat. Wow. Put it in the chat. Put it in the comments. Playback. Hit it up. Reach out to one person. Just one. I'm not asking to go through your digital Rolodex. I'm not asking you to go into your archives. I'm not asking to knock at your neighbor's door or text. Well, how many people do that anymore? Or text everyone. I want you to reach out to one person that inspires you. And I want you to start a genuine conversation. Hey, how are you doing? What's going on? What are you up to these days? It's weather. It's usually a common topic. And then, you know, one of the greats says, if you don't have an opportunity, create the opportunity. And that's what I've done. I've created the opportunity. I have created a global network, y'all, of people that I love a little bit more than some of my family and friends because they're supportive. You know what I mean? Helenique, hello, my dear. It's been so long. Love and kisses. How are you? Great job. I'm watching you. I'm one of those ninja watchers, but I'll give you a love. Great job. All my best to you, my dear. Thanks for stopping by. I want you to start surrounding yourself with what my mentor, my coach, my best friend, my kindred spirit, whom I work with, Les Brown, only quality people. Let me tell y'all, there's a lot of fake people out there. I've seen it. I've experienced. I don't play that. Find people that are going to rise up with you, that are going to empower you, enlighten you, and give you the fuel and frequency you need. Because that's going to fuel you to move forward. And I just started a new phrase. It's not original. I think it's cool. I think it's authentic, but I'm sure somebody has said it. You grow, I grow. You grow, I grow. I grow, you grow. That's just how it works. And then when you have a community like that, that supports you, checks in, hey, how you doing? Not so much to where you're at, to critique and assess you, but to enlighten you and strengthen you. And the real test, y'all, is if you're not doing well. And they reach out regardless, without any expectation, any hesitation. Just reach out. And when you hit that one person today, that one individual, it could be an adult, it could be a child, It could be someone you've never met across the world. It could be somebody sitting in your phone right now that you haven't reached out in months, years. If you do this, I promise you, when you start surrounding yourself, I'll show you then how to really press play, plan life according to you, and build a network that builds your net worth. Because let me tell you, one of the things, and there's nothing I'm not telling you before, when you have the mindset where you are the strongest link in your community, time to move on. Time to move forward, because that means that you have outgrown your surroundings and it's on to bigger and better things. I'm not dismissing where you're at, but y'all know, you heard me say this for years. Humans are creatures of comfort. We do not like change. Now, we cringe at it. We refrain from it. We want to change everybody else, but we barely change ourselves. So hear this from my heart. Take the first step today, because I promise you, as I'm learning right now, I'm applying this right now. I've really launched and put my pedal to the metal for real, and I'm shifting it. Y'all see my work. Your network is your net worth. Build a high value connection for success. And I'm not just talking business. I'm talking growing outside your family, building those strong relationships, those personal relationships, your spouse, your siblings, your family, wherever it is. Because when you grow, they grow. And if they're not ready to grow, dang, messed it. This is why I can't be a comedian. If you grow, they grow. And if they're not ready to grow, you gotta go. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish that has brought you great value, great content. It's a little bit longer than anticipated today, but that's what I had to share with you. And I just realized I scratched my head and I got bit out here. Yay, that's wonderful. That's going to be hot. That's going to be nice. All right, y'all. We got one more day of the week. Tomorrow is Friday. Did you know, y'all, yesterday? I thought yesterday was Thursday all day. I tell you, I have no clue or concept of time, year, or anything. There's an event that I have in my family that I thought was 3 months away to realize it's next week. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Unplugged completely. So thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. This is Andrea Mason, your first choice, your global voice, alumna of Les Brown, CEO of Press Play, Plan Life According to You, LLC, global ambassador. All my information can be found right here. My website, andreamasons.com. YouTube, this is where it's going to be housed after the 30 days that Facebook takes it off. Go to my YouTube channel, Andrea Mason, From Victim to Victorious. I've got a lot of videos down there for each and every one of y'all. Like, share, subscribe. It's free. Y'all talk about cost. It's free. Just support me. It really helps me support somebody else. If you can impact just one person a day, then you have chosen to press play. Plan life according to you. Thank you so much. One love. I'll see you tomorrow, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time, live stream Monday through Friday. And if I'm not, I got great content. Oh, by the way, don't forget, cast your vote. Tell me which video was good yesterday. And then part of me, life happened. I wasn't able to make it, but I gave you great content. Check out yesterday's video and let me know. And if you missed it, it's on YouTube. Thank you. I'll see you tomorrow. Mwah. Love y'all. I appreciate it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And to you, y'all haters and non-likes, don't worry. I appreciate it because you're making me grow stronger. Be safe. Be well. Andrea Mason signing off, y'all. Take care. Love you.